for sure, you can argue that with Trump, his number one priority is to make sure the American economy is better, and he's trying to do that to the best of his abilities. And I honestly don't know if this is a good thing or a bad thing, because
the US tariffs against every single country in the world came into play. And, I want to throw in a joke very quickly, because this tariff was also applied to, I forgot the name of the country now, but it was a country where they said, oh, they don't even have a human population. But the American government is just like, we don't care.
I see that, man. That's what I didn't know you saw that as well, man. I wanted to say, like, should we just add this in, but that was mental, bro. Like, I think it was just Iceland, man. It was like just ice, man. Like, yeah, not the country Iceland, but
Like some kind of new blah blah with like penguins and that's what. And I'm like, yeah, I mean, the Trump administration is just trying to be thorough. In case there's someone there that is sending one
I
little
find that
thing.
quite.
Tariffs.
I think they are just trolling us at this point. They are trolling the world, man.
And I think we're going to get into, because that speaks to how they have chosen to implement it and how they have chosen to put everything together. And we'll get into it as we go through this episode. Now, I think I have a structure in mind. Yeah, feel free to move and say whatever you want, but I want to walk us through this line and see where we get to. Yeah. So the first thing is, I want us to be very basic. The reason for this is, I've seen a lot on the internet lately that brought me to the realization that people do not know what tariffs are. Like, you literally, like, I've spoken to a few people as well where I go, oh, did you hear about the tariffs? And they're like, what is that? Oh, is it that thing where trade, blah, blah, blah. People do not know what tariffs are. I also saw a tweet on Twitter or X where someone was like, oh, I already know tariffs are super bad, but how bad are they really? I was thinking to myself, wow, at least from my perspective, that's just showing that people don't even know what we're talking about. So I want us to start from really, what are tariffs? Just to define that a little bit. For me, I like to define it as a tool that the government uses, to manage trade, right? So it's a price increase. It's a price increase on traded goods. And the reason I put it that way is, so it's a tax or a price increase. It's basically a tax levied on traded goods, but it looks like the impact is it increases the price of whatever that good is. Now, there are two main types of tariffs. There are import tariffs and export tariffs. Export tariffs are not that common. Basically saying a tariff on product that you want to take out of the country, to send somewhere else. That's possible as well, but these are not that common. What's more common is import tariff, right? So a tariff on products that are coming into the country. And that tariff, or this, let's call it the tax that they place on it, the impact that it usually have, right? The direct impact is that the price of that product will increase once it gets into the internal market of whatever country has placed that tariff. I hope that's a little bit clear. Now, whether this is good or bad, it gets more complicated. If that's out of the way, do you think that's a good description of what tariffs are, Ivan?
I mean, yeah, it sounds about right. I'm checking the definition also online now. It says a tariff is a duty imposed by government of a country or customs territory on imports of goods. Yeah. Besides it being a source of revenue, import duties can also be a form of regular blah 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 blah. But yeah, that sounds about right.
Our definition at the moment, at least the definition that I've given, is even more complete than that
Yeah, they
one,
said
because that's focusing
imports,
on
yeah,
just import tariffs, and because they're also export tariffs. Okay, good. Now let's go to the crux of the whole discussion. The US in the last week placed this duty, this tariffs, on every country in the whole world. They have their reasons for doing this, and that's the first thing I want us to look into. What was the intention of the US government for doing this? What do you think they were trying to achieve, Ibra?
I mean, they're trying to save their economy, right? And I feel like they've seen that the American economy is not what it used to be. And I feel like this is just a way for them to just try to salvage or at least make the situation better from my opinion.
I totally agree. They want to make the situation better. And the way they want to do that is one, to reinvigorate their manufacturing economy. Yeah? So the part of the economy that actually manufactures
Oh.
products, they believe that that part has gone down. And they think America was built on manufacturing. The working class of the US was built on manufacturing. So they're thinking, how can we save that? Now, if this is the intention of the US president or the US government
Yeah.
at the moment, is this bad or good from your perspective? Just, I don't want us to get into the details yet of impact, outcome, just intention stand alone. Because I've also gotten the impression that from the internet, people are not clear. I don't think everyone is on the same page with regards to whether this is a good intention or not.
For sure, you can argue that with Trump, his number one priority is to make sure the American economy is better, and he's trying to do that to the best of his abilities. And I honestly don't know if this is a good thing or a bad thing also, because yeah, I mean, we can never tell, right? But if he believes in it, he should go for it. I mean, it's an instrument for a reason, right? So I believe there has to be some logic to it. I mean, there is, right? We just read what the meaning is also. So I believe, yeah, that's his intention, right? To make everything better.
Exactly. So standalone intention alone, for me, I would say, well, it's a good intention for a president of the country to have, right? I'm not American, but if I would be American, I would appreciate that we have a president that looks at the country and say, look, there are things that we need to change, and I want to do it, right? I don't want to play games. I want to do it. If we have some sort of alignment, that the intentions are probably okay, that the American government wanting to, so I think there's another intention layer to it. So there's the intention of, let's improve manufacturing within the country. Let's make companies invest more in the US, create more jobs in the US, produce more in the US. I think there's also the intention of self-sufficiency, because I think the US believe that on certain products, they are now over-reliant on a country that they would consider a rival, right? So there's also a competition angle, right? Because as the US wanting to retain their crown or their position as the largest economy in the globe and the leader of the Western world, at least, their reliance on China is scary for the Trump government. I think this is also one of their intentions. I believe that they're worried about that, and it's one of the reasons that they're doing all this.
Yeah, I mean, not just to not jump the gun, right? Because I'm not sure what direction you are taking this, right? Because yeah, I have a lot of comments on this, but to just keep it short, for sure they have to. China is not a small country. They haven't been for a long while, man. Like, but the idea where the US is denying that or acting like it's not true, that's gonna hurt them more than they can even imagine. So I feel like for sure, if there's one thing that I agree with Trump, is to definitely see China as a huge, massive player and a big competitor that they have to be worried about, for sure.